how did we get here? So we're talking today about our water crisis, the drought, but as you just said, this isn't just drought, it isn't just climate change, it's also the water diversions, right? And as we're talking about imagination, I think it's important to remember that someone in our history imagined our current systems, right? And to be honest, it's my ancestors. My ancestors colonized this state, and they imagined our current systems, our current cultural relation with water, our current policies around water. And so I want us to talk a bit about what's the root of our current crisis, what previous relations to water were imagined 100, 200 years ago that shape how we relate to water today. And I want to pass this one first to Forrest to start us off.
First of all, I want to say the recent high water year we've had was kind of a blessing and a curse. It restored our lakes and reservoirs, but it also caused us to start relaxing. When we were struggling with that dry year, our consciousness, our awareness was going up. And we were starting to become concerned. We were considering conservation measures. We were taking it serious. But now that the water, our streams and lakes have been restored, it's caused us to relax. And I don't think we can do that. I think we need to take this time to really focus on our real problem is our culture. You see, I appreciate your comments about the Rhine River. I've been there. It's a beautiful river. But it goes back to, I've always thought that a lot of the people who came to this hemisphere, a lot of them came from places that were green and had lots of water and rain, plentiful rain. And they came to a climate that was very little rain, very dry. And I don't want to insult anyone, but I've heard the comment, well, we want to make the desert bloom. The desert already blooms, okay? What we need to do is put water in the places that it will be most feasible, okay? And we're not doing that right now. Where I come from, the Uinta Basin, I see them digging more and more pipelines, and they're piping more and more water out of the Duchesne River, which feeds the Colorado, okay? And the problem I have with that is that those lands are not, a lot of those lands are alkali desert. They're not really quality soil. And they're starting to go up along the bench lands, the cedar bench lands. Those lands are not designed for farming. And the worst thing is they're raising a lot of alfalfa, which takes a lot of water. And what they don't use for their own livestock, my understanding is the Utah Agricultural Association, they're shipping a lot of that to San Francisco to be put on barges to China. And if you really examine that closely, we're shipping our water to China, okay? Now, I'm a rancher myself, okay? I raise alfalfa, grass alfalfa mix, mostly for my horses. And I'll sell some from time to time, but I sell it locally. And so I'm conscious of water and how to preserve. In fact, my son talked me into going to a pivot. So next year I'm going to install a pivot. It's more efficient. So I'm doing my part, okay? So I don't know if that was the whole question.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah,
but we've got a cultural problem, folks. And it's going to be hard to change. It might even take another cataclysmic event for us to realize we've got to make some changes. And the indigenous people, you know, I used to think, oh, they used to call us the caretakers and all this stuff. I used to think of my own people as backward. And people used to say, oh, you Indians are always getting in the way of progress. And that used to make me feel bad until lately I sat back and said, you know, lately some of the progress I see is not very good. In fact, it's destructive to the earth. And maybe it's a good thing that we get in the way of progress. That might even be our purpose. Who knows?